Hello, everybody. We're back. We're going to talk about the Cutlass series ships today. We have everybody here currently from the U.I.S. showing as Animal, Leoben, and Red Osprey. I'm going to kind of pan through the brochure here that we have, and if Animal, if you or Leoben want to talk about what you guys know about we'll start with the Cutlass Black. I'll kind of pan through this and see where we go from there.
A hot topic indeed. They hate it and
Well,
love
it is a love-hate relationship among the community of Star Citizen because the Cutlass Black is the jack of all trades, but it's the master of none
it.
completely.
And it's ugly and it's made of paper and it flies exactly like it looks.
It's a clunker.
It is. It
It's a
can take
it's a
it can take a
it
little
can
bit of a beating. It can hold its own. It needs help. I you know um I respect it for what it is, and I think, however, in all of our I can't find the exact word, but in all of our, downing it, we'll call it, we're overlooking that all of the components are exposed. So fixing this and finding problems is going to be easy and fast. See, something like the 600, if there's a fire from what I was seeing on the inside
the
press
600
when
the
they were talking
600
about,
would be so complicated to fix.
yeah, because you're gonna have to pull those panels off to find the fire, and so you're gonna have to pull panels off to find the troubleshoot. And I asked them specifically about it, and again, Naked can back me up on this one. When I asked CIG devs, I forget who was in the bar citizen, we were talking about it, and I asked them about that. Like, I asked, is like, I was like, okay, we all know that, in the future of the game, you guys want it to be where like a armor piercing bullet or an armor piercing round hits the ship and it passes through, and the game is gonna, rationalize. Did it hit a fuel line? Did it hit a power line? What did it hit on the way in? What kind of damage did it do? And what is this damage going to lead to? I was like, I get that, but are these things going to be systemic? So, like, if the fuel line is ruptured to the port in a cell, it's always going to be this one spot because that's just where the node that you guys have in there to have to interact with, which I think everybody would hear, be like, yeah, that makes sense. Or, and I said, or is it going to be systemic and random anywhere throughout the ship, since the ship is technically going to have the hoses, pipes, and lines going throughout the ship? And again, he cut me off and said, yes, no, we need to see what the engineers can fully do. So,
Well,
yes,
I
no,
I I
to
can
what
see it
extent, I'm not
being
sure.
I can see it being to where like a round pierces the hull and hits an electrical line that causes a power surge that actually causes more damage to another part of the ship than what the bullet actually caused,
Mm,
which is
yes,
something that they still have to figure that. That's just speculation at this point. There's something like you said, the engineers have to figure out.
that's what he said. So I mean, that's what they said. So I mean, what I'm taking away from that is, yes, they want to do that. Um, they probably are waiting to see what the engineers can pull, like how much they can pull off and do. You know what I mean? Like how much can they get away with doing, and without harming the performance of the game, and while also keeping it, like, lack of a better word, too much. You know what I mean? Because then when things get too much, then it gets too much, and that could be, too much isn't always good. And this
Now,
game is already a game of too much.
Now, as you can see from the stream, the page that Naked is on right now, it says flight ready, but update pass is in progress, which means it's getting its gold pass. So what we see now may not actually be what it turns out to be.
Oh, absolutely not. It's
But
gonna be something completely different for sure.
Now, I must say,
but
oh, go ahead, Amel.
like all other Drake ships, it looks like it's held together with duct tape and zip ties.
As
I
it
know
should be.
for this particular ship, the Cutlass Black, I know we've already kind of spoken about the Constellation series. This one would I would say would be a step down from the Constellation. Better for like one to two man. However, with the addition of the Spirit coming in, I kind of think Cutlass has a little bit of a competitor when it comes to one to two person ships, only because maybe I favor that style of ship a little bit more. This one, however, as it shows on the display, will be more of a low cost option because you already know Crusader is going to be an arm and a leg for those spirits.
Oh
Easy
yeah.
to maintain, as Animal was saying before, everything is basically duct tape, so anybody could pretty much fix the ship. It won't be that hard. Definitely the go-to for pirates, since pirates do not really want to spend a lot of money if they don't steal their ship. They're probably going to buy the cheapest thing they can afford to do what they're going to do, and this would be probably the go-to pirating one to two person ship.
And it's typically the one of the only ships that you ever see pirates fly in the game right now is Cuddy Blacks. And like a lot of sci-fi shows, whether it's Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Trek, Stargate. I mean, they always have this piece of shit ship that
Yeah.
they're piecing together, keeping flying with
You
duct
have
tape, hopes, and dreams.
yeah, and and here's another thing too that and not to hit anybody, but I've not that I've heard anybody talk about this part of it too, and that's sometimes CIG will put out a ship. Yes, they offer it for us to buy, and that's cool. Whatever that's the way they make money to fund the game, and I'm okay with that. And it gives me the option to buy something if I want it, whatever, and whatever the case may be. That's a different subject, but sometimes they do put out ships that are like, why? Why'd you do that? Or, oh, this is like, what am I gonna do with this? Well, it's because it's a sim. They need it anyway. Even if you're not gonna use it, the NPCs are gonna use it. So they need it. But it might be something that you might want to use or you could use because it's a useful thing. Like, for example, the most useless of them all, the MPUV.
Well, I
You
mean,
not the
one
ship we're
thing I
talking about, but don't forget the Cuddy has the tractor beams here. That's the other advantage it has for a starter ship. $100 has tractor beams, 46 units of cargo. You know what I'm saying? It's got big gas tanks, dedicated VTOL. It's just cheap.
well, I mean,
No,
as useful as it is, though, that's one of my biggest gripes. Is it's a piece of shit
Yeah,
for $100. It's not. It shouldn't be $100.
it could be. It could be. I think I
I
think what
mean,
makes
I
it $100 is the fact that, like I said, it's got tractor beams, and quite a multitude of of things that are kind of make it for a starter ship, make it a little OP. Like I said, look,
well,
it's got
yeah, but I mean, you could go along the lines of the cutter. The
all
cutter
right,
is a $60 ship.
all right. So let's just close our eyes for a second and take all of these stats, right? But put it in, say, an Origin hull or an Anvil hull. Well, now it's an amazing ship. Look at these
Or an
stats.
Aegis.
It's an amazing ship. I mean,
Well,
even
that's
if it isn't that strong or doesn't hit that hard,
what doesn't
it's
hit that hard, and it's made of
versatile.
paper, like you said. So, I mean, they could actually reduce the price point on this. They could make the cutter, which is a $60 starter ship, they could turn that into a $40 starter ship, and then make the Cuddy Black a 70 to $80
Yeah,
starter ship
yeah, I see where you're getting
because
with that one.
because it doesn't hit that hard. It's made of paper.
For
it
now,
looks
at
like it's
least.
made, it for now at least. But I mean, right now it looks like it's made. It's held together with duct tape, zip ties, and hopes and dreams.
But
It's
that
the
is the
jack of
whole
all trades. But
that is the whole
that's the
premise of
Drake.
the ship.
That's the Drake premise too. I mean, hell, look at the Corsair. The Corsair looks like it's made of duct tape and hopes and dreams too. But
Now, I want to say I'm going to be very happy when I see the gold pass go through and we get to see what the tractor beams in the ship look like how they function with it.
Yes.
I'm assuming they're
I,
going to be able to draw things to the side of the ship. I'm assuming.
I, yeah, and also, they're also two size twos, so combined, that's going to be strong enough again to tow a ship or grab a ship and throw it. So again, you see what I'm saying?
or stop a ship in its tracks and go, ha.
Yeah, and so yeah, or yeah, exactly. And with those engines on that thing, look at those engines. That thing is straight thrust.
I know
Well,
before
you
they
could
said that.
also turn the VTOL on and rotate around in space and throw something too.
Oh, oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Go back to a picture of it, naked. Like, let's
I
get a
know
close here.
also before they mentioned that this ship is going to be able to kind of go into more of a lock onto another ship type of thing, like basically like sit down on a ship and like you can board, like it's kind of
Yeah,
like a Drake version of a boarding ship.
yeah. That's the other thing. The feet are clamps. Again, it is. It's a poor man's boarding ship. The feet are clamps. No, those things. Those are the tractor beams on the wings in the front there.
Oh, that's the tractor
Yeah,
beam.
yeah. Those
Yeah,
are the tractor beams.
see the
But if
feet underneath the cockpit? Those are
yeah,
that's the landing gear.
yeah, those are landing gear, but they're also like claws. Like if you go to the other picture, you can kind of see it. This is an old rendition of it. So, oh no, not that one, because that's the landing gear. That it don't even look like that no more.
Yeah, that's not even in the game. That's not even relevant anymore.
I don't even know if any of the other ones have further back have one that's similar.
Nope.
That's the only one
Nope.
I have at the moment, short of
That's the
going
only
into
relevant image.
the next
All right. Well,
the
okay.
commercial.
So what I was talking about was just the other day they made an announcement, or a post, I should say, to be more accurate, that they are experimenting with, and they said it's looking good. So they're seeing how, they're basically seeing how to apply it to throughout the ships that can use it, but to include ships that may not have even had it or were intended to have articulating thrusters are now going to have articulating thrusters. So the Cuddy Black, as you can see, it has the rotating thrusters. Excuse me, already for VTOL. But look at their orientation. If they have articulation, these can technically do a 360.
Hmm.
So with the tractor beams in the front, they can grab onto something and then flip those engines around and do a full reverse burn with the mains instead of the retros. Huh?
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would
Because then you
definitely
could
help
really,
in slowing down faster.
You could do
I,
all kinds of things with that now. Think
you know
about the.
what I,
Oh my God! See, people
one of
like.
one of the things I just thought about that, they could actually turn the Cuddy Black into it's something for salvaging too, where you could lock onto something, turn those mains around, and pull something out of a ship.
You could assist with you could assist with car. This would be with the tractor beams and those, like you said, with the articulating engines working like they were talking about. Then that would be a decent assistant if you didn't have a poor man's SRV. This is a poor man's everything.
Yeah,
Well,
That's
I'd
that's
that.
why
say
they
definitely.
consider it the jack of all trades, master of none too. It's because it's the poor man's everything. It can do everything with it.
Everything. I mean, literally everything, and that's what. And to be honest, even though there are competitors, the 400, the Connie, the MSR, the Spirit now, right? Still, none are as generalized. Like, so this versus, you know, the Spirit, the direct competitor at the exact same price point of 100 to 110 bucks, right?
Mhm.
Both
That
have
all the
tractor
spirit's going to
beams.
be
Yeah. The Spirit's probably going to be about 120,
cool.
130. So now Spirit also has a size 2 tractor beam, but it's rear mounted and it's limited in its arc, and it's not frame mounted, so it wouldn't be suitable as a tow truck.
Hmm.
Okay, then you have the uh uh the fact that it's gonna obviously be way faster and be way better in atmosphere. A little less cargo, a little less room in the cargo hold too, like the dimensions of it, which is also going to matter because even though, yeah, 40 versus 46 in the Cuddy Black and 40 in the Spirit for cargo space, you know, the Cuddy Black can hold a Cyclone MT with the missile rack.
And
The
actually,
Spirit,
I fit a Cyclone, and I also fit a Dragonfly in there. If you open the side doors, you can fly a Dragonfly right in and land it.
yeah, and then there's that, it
No,
has the side hatches versus the one rear hatch. So, there's, and then both have dedicated VTOL, you know,
now one of the
and
things I
Now,
like about the cab is it's been become a very staple thing on these ships for Drake is the ability for the pilot and or the co-pilot to lift up. Because I know for this one, the co-pilot lifts super high up into the second area of the cockpit here to
yeah,
be able to fly, just like the Corsair, where that second pilot actually or a co-pilot goes down into the secondary room.
and
kind of
it's
like
not like
that.
it's not like you're in a like a F-18 fighter jet where you're looking at the back of the head of the pilot in front of you. That co-pilot seat lifts up over, so you're looking over the main pilot.
Exactly.
And then
Now,
also,
as
go ahead.
as much as I knock the Cuddy Black, my first ship in the game was a cutter, and I upgraded to a Cuddy Black. I mean, it was good enough for me to upgrade to it. I liked it. I just, it wasn't my style, wasn't my speed, didn't really have what I was looking for, and I upgraded from that to the Andromeda. So, I mean,
Strong move. A strong move. No doubt.
Now
so
to
it's
get into
fine.
more
I'm not saying don't buy it by any means.
to get into more specs toward the ship, all of them are pretty much the same for the length of 29 meters, beam 26.5 meters, height of 10 meters. It is listed as a medium-sized ship, 226,000 kilograms. I know it was mentioned before, cargo capacity of 46, SCM speed 220, which is also subject to change once we get the new flight mechanics. Afterburn speed 1,115 meters a second. Minimum crew and maximum crew of two. Believe it or not, these will actually have relevance later on once the crew gameplay comes into effect, where it's going to require you to have these people for your ships.
Well, I
Um,
mean, min crew. I mean, to be honest, you could probably say min crew be one because the co-pilot seat right now is useless in every ship. The co-pilots can't really do much. The only reason you would want that second crew member is for the turret. But I
yeah,
would say max crew would be three. A minimum of one, maximum of three, because later in the game, that co-pilot seat you're gonna want that filled, and you're also gonna want somebody in the turret.
Yeah, exactly.
you guys want to jump into the original Drake Cutlass commercial?
Now,
Do it.
let's see how things have progressed since day one.
Mind everybody, this is the older commercial. We also have the newer commercial as well. We're gonna play both and kind of see between the two, as the animal
To
saying how
give
they
everyone an
progress.
idea too, this commercial is 8 years old.
Yes.
Amazing.
I will say too, the graphics actually look like this.
Not anymore.
Uh,
They used to.
well, no, I mean like the details on his suit. The
Oh
game
yeah,
actually looks like that. Where this is 8 years old, but
yeah,
the game actually looks like the cinematic now.
yeah.
Also, that last screen that they were showing, that did look an awful lot like Game Glass.
Oh, there's another ship we should talk about.
That's what the Van Duel used to look like.
I know when we go into
All of that
the
shit looks the same.
talk about the scythe, there's not very many pleasant things to say about that at fast speeds at the moment.
No, it's absolute trash.
And the unfortunate thing is, this commercial is 8 years old, and that ship still looks identical to what it looks like in the commercial.
It
Yeah,
was
but
flying much better then, though.
when we get to Van Duel ships, that's gonna they'll ignore that. That's like from old school, old school. This is from a time from before the game had FPS in mind. This is when it was strictly gonna be a space combat sim.
Now you see that with the thrusters.
That's what we will be able to do with the articulating thrusters.
And that will change the dynamic of that ship completely.
Yes.
If only missiles took people out like that.
Right.
Pre armor.
Look at those thrusters. I love it. So
You
obviously,
oh the Cuddy Steel commercial is the Jumptown 2.0 commercial, or the Jumptown commercial.
Here is the newer one. Oh, I think it's trying to play the other one still.
yep,
That's the freelancer.
autoplayed the next video.
This is the newest Drake.
That was black commercial.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, this is the kind of friends we are. We finish each other's sentences.
Or sandwiches, whichever one comes first.
By closer, probably it could end up that way at times. This is still a relatively old commercial, but it shows the Cutty Black in its current form, or closer to its current form. Yeah, you see how the front leg is like, you see how the front landing gear is a claw? That's meant to grab and to dig into armor. The hull of their ship and just hold on. Madness.
Black is back. I
All
will
right.
say the commercial was a little much better 8 years ago.
Also, to kind of carry on with the Cutlass Black, here's the Best in Show edition. Basically the same thing, just a literal identical ship, just a different skin. But we'll see if they have any other different information that's on here. Everything else kind of looks the same. Pictures doesn't look like they have anything else. Just that particular image. Anything else we want to say about the black before we move on to the blue?
No, I think the black has had its day, had its moment.
Basically, the all-around 1 to 2 man cargo.
Well, like I said, it's the jack of all trades, but it's the master of none. Take that saying into account when you consider the Cutlass Black. You can do everything with it, you just can't do it well.
Mm-hmm.
Now to dive into the Cutlass Blue. This one is more of the police variant. For this one,
It's longer and its beam is shorter.
it does look like the speeds and things have changed on this one as opposed to the original. SCM speed shows as 198 now, with an afterburner that's a little bit faster at 1210. It looks like I think the length is a little bit bigger. Is it not mistaken? We'll be able to tell that here when we go to the fleet viewer at the very end.
If you go to the Cutlass Black tab up top, to your left there, 29. So
29,
it's 7 meters longer.
what, 26 and 10, 26 beam for the width and 10 for the height. So Cutlass Blue is a little bit taller. I'm assuming to make do for those the jail cells, the individual
Yeah,
jail pods.
for the pods.
Cargo
Oh, and
capacity of 12.
it has an EMP. So yeah, add everything that the black has, add an EMP, but
I
take
did not know
away.
about the EMP for this one. It does
Yeah,
have that?
yes,
Interdiction.
it doesn't have a dampener, but it has an EMP.
Well, I knew it was the interdiction, but I didn't know if it actually came with the EMP. I don't remember. I don't remember that one.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have an EMP.
It does have a tractor beam, which
Yeah, it still has everything else. Oh, and
everything
it
else
does
looks the
sacrifice
same.
cargo.
Yeah, the
It only
cargo
has
is much, much smaller
it only has 12 cargo, I think. Yeah.
as opposed to the
So
46 from before.
yeah, you lose the cargo capacity, but you're gaining, I think, 12 cryostasis pods for prisoner transport and an EMP, and you still have the tractor beams and everything else that the Cuddy Black has.
Gonna be honest though, the blue, the
Right.
cockpit is uglier.
It also has a little bit more armor than the black.
Some of these are really old pictures too. Very old pictures.
Now, I will say that I know a lot about the Cuddy Black. I don't really know a whole lot about its variants. I just know that the Cuddy Blue is the police variant.
Hop back into the. They still have the old pictures on here too. From this one, I do like the lights. That's a definite cool add-on. I haven't gotten
And
to
those
play
are
around with this
functional.
one.
Those lights
This
are functional, just like on the Cuddy Red.
I like the cockpit a little bit more. It looks more like you have better visibility as opposed to the rigidness of the Drake Black.
Yeah, it just looks like a blab. I mean, we got more visibility, but it doesn't look nearly as cool as the Cuddy Black cockpit. Doesn't have that, the Cuddy Black has more of an angular design. You could
Prisoner
do the
gameplay.
rounded cockpit with the angular design on this, and it would probably look a lot better.
The prisoner gameplay hasn't really came into effect as much yet either. Once that comes into effect of surrendering and being able to walk somebody into your ship or stun them, knock
Oh,
them out,
I,
whatever.
I, I can totally see this when there's a work release program to pick up trash at space stations. They bring a Cuddy Blue.
Yeah, I could definitely see that as a gameplay avenue. I actually didn't think of that, but that would be something that would be kind of cool is if they had it for your mission would be to literally leave jail, legally leave jail with, officers that, player officers that are supposed to watch you and make sure you're actually doing what you're supposed to be doing. And they're supposed to monitor you while you collect an X amount of trash per se, or whatever you're cleaning up or doing. Maybe you're
And then
venturing
if
into
you,
pyro and messing
Chain
with
th-
stuff.
gang Star Citizen, and
I
then you
didn't
can
even
try
think
to
of that.
get away. Oh my God, and you can try to get away. Well, I mean, it's like you and you and your number two talked about the concept of a player ran prison where the facility that one of maybe within one of our bases that we make a like she said, like a prison. I
Now the
mean,
prison aspect, I'm greatly going to enjoy.
that's gonna be like,
Or if we actually get to build our own underground bunkers. I know they were talking about underground bunker gameplay, but whether or not we're able to build things underground is going to be a whole different story, and that'll be a very
it would be
awesome output.
a very big miss on them if they don't. I think the community would be like, people would be upset.
and I can see it being like, I know recently Netflix released Riddick, Pitch Black Riddick, and Chronicles of Riddick, the prison crematoria.
Yes.
If we could have, if we had personal like org prisons where that's our prisons develop a reputation, kind of like crematoria, to
Oh
where
yeah, yeah,
prisoners are, prisoners go, oh shit, I don't want to go there. Why are you sending me there? No, please don't take me there.
yeah. That would be
Now,
kind of fire.
I do find it a little strange that they have a slower SCM speed, but a faster afterburn speed than the black.
Heavier. They have heavier. I think the blue also has military grade armor.
But the afterburner goes faster than the black, but yet the SCM is slower though. That's what boggles me a little bit.
That is a bit strange.
Well, it also could have to do with the length.
Everything else appears to be pretty similar.
I mean, the length of the Cuddy Blue is 7 meters longer, but the thrusters don't appear to have changed in size.
Now for the
So
weapons,
maybe the added length makes it
the
slower.
weapons, the weapons are definitely different. Goes with more of the two distortion, two ballistic Gatling roll rather than having four Badger repeaters.
Well, that could be a difference too. Is the ballistics might be a little heavier.
Let's see, you guys want to go ahead and jump into the blue commercial? The Cutlass Blue.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's do that one because the blue one is actually kind of cool. It's newer, so it's upgraded.
In a
Like
dangerous galaxy, who can you trust to watch
it's a
your
newer
back?
commercial.
Drake's
So it's
Cutlass
got
Blue
all the
lets you take the
like
law
updated
into your own
commercials.
hands. With all the attitude you expect from a Cutlass. Formidable
Totally a
suppression
cop sitting
options
there
offering
waiting
a
too.
range of lethality.
Just like
Supercharged thrusters, plus an integrated quantum dampener and onboard containment system.
I can really see the
The
role play
Cutlass
going
Blue.
into hardcore
Bad
once
news
this
for the
is
bad
all
guys.
said and finished.
oh,
Only
absolutely,
from Drake.
absolutely.
And then being able to sit between the buildings like that and hide. Phew,
Yep,
that's gotta be so cool.
yep, exactly.
So now for the
I'm gonna give you a first look at the Drake
the
Cutlass.
lovely Cutlass Red. There's not a
Cutlass,
commercial that we were able to find on this one. We thought there was one, but for some reason we weren't able to find it, so we do apologize for that one.
what we
Very
can
sim-
say about it though is it's the ambulance. It's
very
the meat
similar to the
wagon.
police.
Yeah, it is.
It's
Now,
very similar to the police, but it shares the same design as the black.
It
But
has two
it's a meat wagon.
Yeah, it has two bed. It has two tier one beds, like the cheap beds. You can't respawn or nothing, but you could fix a broken leg, but not a tier three injury. If you have a tier three injury, you're still gonna have to go to a hospital.
now there is something that I noticed here that's different. I know I haven't noticed this before. It was probably on there and I just overpassed it. I know it does have the long range scanner. However, it says Secure Plus docking collar, so I'm assuming it's different than the Cutlass Black's docking collar.
Uh, I think it has a soft dock
Cutlass,
that can extend.
well, the Cutlass black doesn't have a docking collar.
Well,
Yeah,
I
no,
guess
yeah,
I guess you have a
but
point. It
yeah, this one has a soft dock that extends out so you can pull passengers in that can't that like in case it's also meant to I think yeah it's supposed to be so it can soft dock up to other ships and not have to worry about what do you call it
You don't have to EVA to the
yeah
other ship to
yeah be a safe
rescue somebody.
so that they could EVA over without a suit. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, brain damage.
Now the red has always been a fan of mine for the color, like just the color point. I know Red Monster
Oh,
loves this.
the color scheme is amazing. It's definitely changed. That actually looks like a toy on somebody's desk.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's another thing they do often. You'll see that
Thanks for the
it,
follow,
like
Darius.
the shaders will change from time to time as things update. I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes I don't like it. Sometimes I'm like, why did you change the color? No,
Well, that
like
and this, this is an old ship, so this is probably CryEngine.
yeah, no, that's absolutely CryEngine. That's nowhere near what they're using time now. That's that's that other stuff. There's not much we could do, but I mean, with the track, I don't think this one has the tractor beams.
I think it loses tractor beams but gains 3 scanning arrays.
Yes, but it does gain a big time scanning array, like a heavy duty. So that is fact.
I mean, there's really not much to say about this. It
Yeah,
shares the same design quality of the Cuddy Black. You could probably pack some storage in there, but the beds are in the way. So I mean, it's a meat wagon. It's meant to go rescue somebody. You can soft dock with their ship, so you can bring them over without a suit if they don't have one, and then you take them back to a hospital that can actually fix them.
yeah, and
Nope.
that's
These
it.
beds will keep them. You can heal a broken arm or something like that, but the beds are mostly there to keep them hydrated and alive, so they make it to the actual hospital that can fix them.
Do we know what series of bed this one has on it? Like what size
Uh,
bed?
I forget what it's either a 1 or a 3. I can never
The
remember.
lowest tier.
I think
Yeah,
I think it's a 3 because so a tier 1 can fix a tier 3 injury, whereas a tier 3 can only fix a tier 1 injury.
yeah, they really
Why
got to like
why
fix
they
that.
did it like that is weird.
I honestly believe that's some of the leftovers from when they had to get rid of people, but that's what they did. You
It's
know what I mean?
probably I mean
It's like
it
what they did.
it should be a 1-to-1, like tier 1 for tier 1 and tier 2 for tier 2, and right, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Jump back into the brochure real quick and see if they see anything specifically on it.
Does it have a different power plant? Because it says size 4 on the max power plant.
Well, I mean, the other one, the police variant, does also say size 5 for the shield, and this one says size 4 for the shield. But I think things have
This one
changed
says
a little bit.
factory. This one says factory power plant size 3, but you can put a size 4 in it,
That's interesting.
which isn't actually in the game. I don't think, unless
It
they
does
just did
say
away with the A&R size 3 and just put an A&R size 4 in it, like a JS 400. Or
does say medical facilities auto dock, but that's about all that it's showing on there. At least that I'm seeing. I might be overlooking it.
it's a cool ship to have. It's definitely a necessity. I see people all the time posting rescue beacons, and there's always somebody showing up in a Cuddy Red.
Yeah, no,
Because the Cuddy Red has 2 beds, you can rescue more people. Whereas like as opposed to like the C8 Pisces, it's a little tiny ship. You can barely make it across the galaxy, or across the star system with it, let alone to a moon. I mean,
that's another
it's
thing.
not
Yeah.
it's not real big. This one can travel.
Yeah,
You
that's
can.
another point. Yeah, I didn't touch on that. I mean, for a small fleet support, small group support on a budget, absolutely the way.
Now this one does go a little bit slower in SCM speed at 183 meters versus 220 for the black and 198 for the blue. Does not
I
show
can
what the
see
afterburner speed is.
I can see the SCM speed being faster for the black because it is the militia model instead of the utilitarian. We need this because we're dying, or we need this because you're criminals and we need something to hold the criminals.
And for weaponry, it looks like it comes with 2 GATS ballistic Gatlings and 2 Dr. Model XJ2s, as opposed to the other 2. But this one does have
It
3
has
scanners.
but has no turrets or missiles either.
Correct.
It wasn't meant to defend the fleet. It was meant to protect itself and rescue people.
Yeah.
You
Just
guys are
getting them
ready.
out, pick up down pilots and such.
You guys are ready. We can skip on into the steel.
Yeah, let's talk
Hmm.
about the worst of the worst. The
No, it's
absolute
only
of the worst. For
it's
now.
so bad it doesn't even have a picture.
Yeah, it's still yeah, it's still in the category of the worst of the worst, but good at nothing.
Now, I can picture this being, a ship that maybe once you've kind of cleared jump point, you can kind of park this in front of the door, and anybody that opens the door is going to get blasted.
Yeah, pretty much.
It'd be kind of a good gameplay, or, pulling in and out with the side mounted turrets. Just being able to kind of give your guys some cover while they're going in and out. Gives it a little bit of a
I mean,
different look to it, but I don't foresee somebody being able to get up to an area safely without being blasted down before they even have the chance to use this.
Yeah,
the Cuddy steel is like the helicopters with the 50 cal Gatling machine gun on the side. It's the one where in games where you like Grand Theft Auto, for example, you shoot the guy and that's manning the gun first. He's going to be one of the first ones to die because you don't worry about the ship itself. The ship itself doesn't really have anything going for it. It's the guy manning that machine gun that needs to go first.
yeah.
And
Does have lots
hopefully
of room
for
for
the
crew.
well, that's the thing. It's the drop ship, so hopefully they haven't dropped everyone off. Hopefully they have somebody to replace the guy you just shot in the face. I will say that last picture, the the one the previous one, the Cuddy Steel has a rear-mounted turret
It is a big
in
plus.
this picture. Now, does it actually have the rear-mounted turret in the game?
That I do not know. I have not actually played with it.
I've never flown one myself. I've never actually even seen one. Nobody ever flies it.
Which one?
Cuddy
The
Steel.
steel, yeah.
Oh,
Does
yeah,
it does
because
it actually does it actually have that rear-mounted turret though?
oh yes, it has a tour. It's bristling with guns. Don't get it twisted.
So why is it so bad?
Look at it.
I think
It's
there's other
medium.
better drop ships.
Yeah, the
I'm
Valkyrie
more found toward the Prowler myself for dropping.
and the Valkyrie is far superior.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like this thing has more of an arsenal than the Cuddy Black. Why isn't the Cuddy Black the dropship and the
I think it's the price
Cuddy
point.
Steel the militia ship?
It's the price point, so the people clowned it because it is a little expensive for what it is. Considering it's a Drake. It's made of paper, and now okay, so miss on CIG for there. It should have been cheaper. It is made of paper. I think it should have been the slower of the slowest and the most heavily armored. And um, I think that you know, uh, uh, maybe a little bit less on the price too, because you can't hold any cargo in it. The only advantage is that for it is that it does hold 18 jump seats, and it has all. It's great for immediate ground support. Like think like a Huey back in Vietnam. A Huey helicopter in Vietnam
Hmm.
hovering right above the dudes, just giving support. That's what it's meant to do. But the Valkyrie is the military version is obviously far superior. But this was again, where it's like I get the community's upset with it, but at the same time, lore purposes, the pirates need something too, right?
It
Like
fits its
you know what I mean?
role.
You know what I mean? Like the pirates need something too. So, I mean, we may not like it. You don't have to use it. And yeah, it may well be very well be shit. But let's look at it from another perspective. The pirates need it. The story needs it. The universe needs it. The
And
background needs
it
it.
does
And
have the
guess
absolute slowest SCM too.
yeah, yeah, okay, then okay, I hit the nail there. And the other thing that CIG absolutely needs from it. They need the $235 that they sold it for, because they didn't sell you a $235 drop ship. They sold you a $235 token for you to upgrade to something else later. You know that,
One thing I will say,
while we fund the project. That's what that was. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real.
one thing I will say is, leave it to CIG for a complete lack of imagination.
Well,
They named it the steel because it's steel colored. The black is black, the red is red, and the blue is blue. That's the only reason they have those names, is because the ship is that color.
but
Now,
that's
blue
also
toward police and red toward medical too, though.
but that's
Right.
also
Well, that I can understand, but they could have, they could have named it the Cutlass Police and the Cutlass, Cutlass Fire.
well, they might be, one would stand. So okay, in if you read the descriptions in lore, that's part of the Drake lore too. So that's like with their scheming, things.
Well, no, I'm not trying to knock CIG with the lack of imagination comment.
Yeah,
That was a
but
little harsh, but
it is pretty but it is pretty plain. I get it. Now, but it is part of the lore. Like, also the the other part of it with Drake being that, they are just exceptionally cheap,
Hmm.
like affordability wise, and easy to fix. Um,
that's
so
one thing I didn't say too. Is we were talking about the complexity of an origin ship if it has a fire, a Cuddy Black, or any of the Cuddy series. You can see all the exposed wires,
that's
the
what I'm saying.
hoses, everything. Yeah,
You'll see the
everything is
problem right away.
exposed.
Yeah, you don't
If
have
you need to fix something, the fire is going to be right in front of you.
and you can just open those side doors and vent the ship. Now, I was gonna say, see, look at that. Now that's the other part of it. It's also a death box. So now also, if you look at the descriptions of some of the ships, some of them are stated as favorites to be used by, independent and local security or police forces and mercenary outfits. So things like the 300, the 100, stuff like that. So, you got to think like the star systems with money are gonna
Hmm.
have, you know, the police version of a 300 versus
I mean,
the,
I got scanned. I
you
got scanned by MT Protection Services 325A.
yeah, see? Exactly. But that's just a fighter version in their paint. I mean, something that's like, think like think like the police Crown Vics. Yes, it's a Crown Victoria, but it's not a Crown Victoria underneath that hood. You've got
Hmm.
the interceptor in there, and you've got the solid iron block, and the supercharger, and the beefed up hubs with the beefed up rear end. The sport exhaust, not boosted like a race car, but more sporty than a typical car. You know, to handle the supercharger, and now you have a police interceptor. Dedicated.
Right, but I mean, along those lines, though, the Cuddy Black is like a regular. It's like a regular Crown Vic, whereas the police, the Cuddy Blue should be a souped-up version of the Cuddy Black. But in reality, it's slower.
I
It's
wonder if
less maneuverable. Like
I wonder if like
they
I
didn't
wonder if
slap a
they'll
supercharger on the Cuddy Blue.
yeah, but they did with an EMP. But I wonder if they'll allow for those pods to be put in a Cuddy Black,
It'd be
because
interesting.
they're just like in racks. You know what I mean?
What if you could do
Just
like
pallets.
Cutlass Black? Maybe have half your ship be
Oh
pods, and the other half be medical.
no, I got it. I got it. They 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 may have to redo some tweaking, but if they made the pods, the cryopods, make it like like palletized, where it's just, four, five, six of them, whatever, however many can fit, on the whatever the metric is, but like on a pallet that can be taken off with a forklift tractor beam, right? But make it'd have to be in a size that you can take them out of like a Cuddy Black or a Cuddy, police one, and tractor beam them into a Caterpillar, and then they fit in the caterpillar hold perfect too.
Now going down that direction, I know they did show at one of the last was it last year's big show? They had it to where they had like little coffins that float that you can actually put somebody in and put them
Yeah,
into your
yeah,
ship. So you could
yeah,
technically use the black as a people mover as
yeah.
well with their own individual floating pods.
Oh my God, we're gonna be able to abduct people and then carbon freeze them, bro. Bruh. How is fire? They showed us using tractor beams to abduct a person, and then they showed us earlier, cryopods, like straight up Han Solo, bro, straight up. Oh, it's so fucking cool.
I guess we'll jump into the commercial for the Cutlass Steel.
Do it. It's a kind of cool one.
If only it actually played like that.
Uh,
What do you guys think? Is there any other last minute recaps or things that we hadn't really touched on any of the Cutlass series?
Um, I don't know. You got anything there, big man? I can't think of nothing
Um,
at the moment
I
because
mean,
I
the
think
only
it's
we
thing,
it's not one of my favorites. So you know,
I mean,
nah.
the only thing I've wanted to, really touch on is the fact that CIG could reduce the price of this.
Oh, big time. That is a fact.
But
I
it
could see
is a
that.
great starter. Little, like you said, it's a great starter ship, but there's not a whole lot of people that are going to spend $100 on a starter ship.
I mean, I think if they put it in an upgraded package and give it Squad 42, I think it is an up package for like 120 bucks. But I think they give it maybe 12-month insurance instead of that 6 month because that's kind of weak for, you know what I mean? But hey,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, you got to look at it from the standpoint of a new player. They're
yeah,
looking to get into the game. Give it a package, make it $100 with the game package, but give it a Squad 42 as well. So you're getting more for that $100.
yeah, true.
Because one thing you got to take into consideration is adding more insurance doesn't really mean much if nobody knows, if the person buying the game for the first time doesn't know about it.
Yeah,
Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have any idea what insurance meant.
that was part of my early on mistakes too. It's true. I think maybe if yeah, I don't know. I won't put it out there now, but
Well,
yeah, that was one of my
especially along the standpoint of insurance doesn't mean shit until the game is released.
facts.
So if they spend the $100 and they get Squad 42 and then they get the Cutlass Black and they get the game package and they don't like it, they never
Yeah,
utilize that they never utilize that insurance that came with it in the first place.
true.
It is true.
Because they could
Well,
just buy that and be like, "Oh, fuck this game. I don't like this game. It's not for me." I don't know a lot of gamers that would say that, but there are those few that this isn't for them, or they don't like the fact that it's been an alpha for so long, or
Yeah, that bothers a lot of people.
I
but
look at
that'll
the
be
alpha.
changing soon.
I look at the alpha being, it's been an alpha for 10 years. It's been playable for 5. That means they're not cutting any corners. We don't have another Anthem on our hands.
Yeah, they haven't disappointed me yet. I don't know about you all, I'm just saying. I mean, yeah, I've had frustration and I would be remiss and a liar to say I have never been frustrated with them. Recent times, yes, Yes, but I have to bite my tongue and remember what's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Not
mean, one
seeing
of
where
the
it
things
came
I think
from.
about,
And
one of the
hope.
things, one of the things I think about is the fact that, I mean, yes, I haven't been able to play the actual live game in 2 weeks. But one thing I tell myself, and I have to tell myself, is it's alpha.
Oh yes.
I knew this going into it. I warn people when I tell them about the game, hey, it's in alpha. So
Seeing where the game came from
don't
originally and 30K'ing every 5 minutes trying to haul cargo, I'm very happy with where it's at now. But yes, there's still bugs. Yes, there's still a long way to go, but it's getting
well, I
there.
mean, like I was saying, when I tell people about the game, man, this game is so cool. But there's one downside. It's an alpha.
Yep.
So I let them know they have they can't have super high expectations going in. Don't be disappointed if you get 30K. Don't be disappointed if there's bugs. It's in alpha. Typically, I mean, every other AAA game company doesn't let you play alpha. They only give it to a select few,
Yep.
and then those select few have to sign an NDA.
Yeah, it's usually internal.
And then there's NDAs all around. We don't have any NDAs. I
Yeah.
mean, there's those of us in the Evocati that sign an NDA, but I
But
mean,
for but for
the
the most,
alpha,
they
the
want us.
majority,
That's the thing. That's why
right? Well, that's the thing though. That's one thing that nobody takes into consideration. All the other AAA game companies make you sign an NDA. They only give it give alpha access to a select few, and by the time beta comes out, the game's already finished. They're just working out the last little kinks. Oh
Yep.
Cut
yeah, you
off
get
what you're
beta
allowed to
access.
see.
Cool.
Cut off what
Yep.
you're
But
allowed to see. Limit you to
hmm
things.
yep.
Don't get
Whereas
me
we're
wrong.
seeing everything,
We're still cut off
almost
in the
everything.
fact that they have a lot more done in different versions, especially Squadron 42, and there's so many things that they haven't integrated into the game yet for us to be able to play with or tinker with. Because, like you said, it's an alpha. They don't want us to see everything yet. They're
Yeah.
still working on it. But if
But
this is
that's why
the
I
end,
tell people like the fact that the game looks this good in alpha is amazing. The fact that they're still in alpha, one of a lot of people's biggest gripes is it's still in alpha, and people complain about this game and they call it a piece of shit, and this and that. But
Whatever.
I mean, well, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
They're not
if
cutting any corners. You don't, AAA, that they don't have a big financial backer going, hey, we need this released yesterday. It's gonna, it's affecting our bottom line.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Exactly. Like, and their only money model isn't any other LPs or titles. It's the sale of ships.
is there anything you guys else can think about of the Cutlass series before we end the discussion on the series?
No, I think this probably covers it pretty good.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, I don't really have any more to say about it. I know it's a great starter ship, but I also know that I upgraded it pretty quick too.
I don't blame you. We'll go ahead and end the stream here for this one. We'll see what other ships we can come up with and see if maybe we can get another one or two out tonight, depending on how time prevails. I know it's starting to get a little bit late, so we'll see what we can do. Otherwise, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see if we can get some more of these ship talks out to you guys. Have a great night.